They told you to follow the path. Go to school, get the job, do what everyone else does. And you actually did it. So why does it feel like a prison? The old playbook is dead. The rules your parents followed, destroyed. A new economy has rewritten everything. And normal is the fastest way to get left behind. In 2026, a degree guarantees nothing. A salary keeps you safe, but never free. The ladder everyone climbed has been pulled up. The only way out is to stop following the crowd. Automation is not just coming. It has already fully arrived. Entire industries have been hollowed out overnight. The only question is, which side of the shift are you on? But for a few, everything is accelerating. The new elite don't follow rules. Ordinary people wait for the right moment. Extraordinary people manufacture the moment. They control their time with violence. This is their story, and it can be yours. Success in 2026 is not luck. It is a set of decisions most people are too afraid to make. The first rule, stop waiting for permission. Move before you feel ready. The crowd moves in one direction, always. Predictable, safe, slow. Winners move perpendicular to the crowd. That is where the open space lives. Wealth is no longer stored in factories or land. It lives in attention, code, and trust. The most valuable currency of 2026, your ability to think differently. They started in a bedroom. No investors, no connections, no roadmap. They had one thing. They refused to be average. That refusal became a business worth millions. The corporation promised stability, but stability was always a negotiation. And in 2026, the corporation renegotiated without telling you. The new safety is owning something no one can take away. Some people found the new rules by accident. Others spent years searching. A rare few chose to study those who broke free and reverse engineered their path. That shortcut is what you're about to receive. Success leaves clues. Every breakthrough follows a pattern. And that pattern has been hiding in plain sight. Most people walk past it every single day. Success leaves clues. Every breakthrough follows a pattern. And that pattern has been hiding in plain sight. Success leaves clues. Every breakthrough follows a pattern. And that pattern has been hiding in plain sight. Most people walk past it every single day. Most people optimize for comfort. High performers optimize for edge. Comfort is a slow erosion. You don't feel it until it's too late. Edge compounds. Silently, exponentially, relentlessly. The new economy has no borders. Your competition is global, but so is your opportunity. The geography of success has permanently changed. The geography of success has permanently changed. The new economy has no borders. Your competition is global, but so is your opportunity. The geography of success has permanently changed. The greatest shift in 2026 is not a technology. It is the realization that your income no longer has to be tied to your time. Money can move while you sleep, if and only if you build the right systems. Money can move while you sleep. Money can move while you sleep, if and only if you build the right systems. Attention is the new oil. Whoever captures it controls the market. And attention is distributed to those who speak truth loudly, not to those who blend in. Not to those who blend in. Attention is the new oil. Whoever captures it controls the market. And attention is distributed to those who speak truth loudly, not to those who blend in. One person with one idea can reach 10 million people without a publisher, without a network, without a budget. That was impossible 20 years ago. In 2026, it happens every single week. In 2026, it happens every single week. One person with one idea can reach 10 million people. Without a publisher, without a network, without a budget, that was impossible 20 years ago. In 2026, it happens every single week. Success in 2026 is not about hustle, it is about architecture. You must build systems that operate without you, or you will always be the bottleneck. The goal is not to work harder, it is to work yourself out of the equation. Success in 2026 is not about hustle, it is about architecture. You must build systems that operate without you, or you will always be the bottleneck. The goal is not to work harder, it is to work yourself out of the equation. Ordinary people wait for the right moment. Extraordinary people manufacture the moment. They control their time with violence. They treat their calendar like a weapon. They treat their calendar like a weapon. Ordinary people wait for the right moment. Extraordinary people manufacture the moment. They control their time with violence. They treat their calendar like a weapon. Assets are the language of the new economy. Code, content, community, capital. The poor trade time for money. The wealthy build things that earn without them. The wealthy build things that earn without them. Assets are the language of the new economy. Code, content, community, capital. The poor trade time for money. The wealthy build things that earn without them. The most important investment you will ever make is in your own thinking. Not in a stock, not in property, in the quality of your decisions. Better thinking produces better outcomes, always. Better thinking produces better outcomes, always. The most important investment you will ever make is in your own thinking. Not in a stock, not in property, in the quality of your decisions. Better thinking produces better outcomes, always. The body is your primary asset. Neglect it and every other system fails. High performers treat their biology like their most valuable business unit. Energy is the foundation. Without it, strategy means nothing. Energy is the foundation. Without it, strategy means nothing. The body is your primary asset. Neglect it and every other system fails. High performers treat their biology like their most valuable business unit. Energy is the foundation. Without it, strategy means nothing. In a world of infinite noise, silence is a superpower. Deep work is becoming extinct. Distraction is not a problem. It is the trap. Distraction is not a problem. It is the trap. In a world of infinite noise, silence is a superpower. Deep work is becoming extinct. The ones who master it will dominate every field. Distraction is not a problem. It is the trap. The digital economy has made distribution free. What once required a factory now requires a laptop. You can build a global business from a spare bedroom. The gatekeepers are gone. The only gate left is your own fear. The only gate left is your own fear. The digital economy has made distribution free. What once required a factory now requires a laptop. You can build a global business from a spare bedroom. The gatekeepers are gone. The only gate left is your own fear. Every industry is in transition. Every transition creates a gap. Gaps are where fortunes are made. The question is, who is watching closely enough to see them? The question is, who is watching closely enough to see them? Every industry is in transition. Every transition creates a gap. Gaps are where fortunes are made. The question is, who is watching closely enough to see them? Nobody becomes exceptional by accident. It always begins with a decision made alone, in silence, a commitment no one else witnesses, a standard set higher than anyone around you expects. A standard set higher than anyone around you expects. Nobody becomes exceptional by accident. It always begins with a decision made alone, in silence, a commitment no one else witnesses, a standard set higher than anyone around you expects. In competition, the margin between first and second is almost invisible, but the reward for first place is 10 times greater. That gap is built in the hours no one sees. In the reps done when motivation is gone. In the reps done when motivation is gone. In competition, the margin between first and second is almost invisible, but the reward for first place is 10 times greater. That gap is built in the hours no one sees. In the reps done when motivation is gone. Creativity is not a talent. It is a daily practice. The greatest brands were built on ideas that seemed wrong at first. Wrong to the average mind. Obvious to the visionary. Wrong to the average mind, obvious to the visionary. Wrong to the average mind, obvious to the visionary. Creativity is not a talent. It is a daily practice. The greatest brands were built on ideas that seemed wrong at first. Wrong to the average mind, obvious to the visionary. The math of success is not complicated. Solve a real problem for real people. Charge fairly. Deliver more than promised. Repeat. The complexity people add is a way of avoiding the simple, uncomfortable work. The math of success is not complicated. Solve a real problem for real people. Charge fairly. Deliver more than promised. Repeat. The complexity people add is a way of avoiding the simple, uncomfortable work. The math of success is not complicated. Solve a real problem for real people. Charge fairly. Deliver more than promised. Repeat. The complexity people add is a way of avoiding the simple, uncomfortable work. Wealth without relationships is a hollow achievement. The most successful people in 2026 understand this deeply. Not followers, believers. Not followers, believers. Wealth without relationships is a hollow achievement. The most successful people in 2026 understand this deeply. They build tribes, networks, loyal audiences, not followers, believers. Capital moves toward clear thinking and bold execution, not toward perfect resumes or polished presentations. Investors fund conviction. The question is whether you believe in what you're building enough to make them believe too. The question is whether you believe in what you're building enough to make them believe too. Capital moves toward clear thinking and bold execution, not toward perfect resumes or polished presentations. Investors fund conviction. The question is whether you believe in what you're building enough to make them believe too. You don't have to build a billion-dollar company to win. Sometimes freedom looks like $10,000 a month on your own terms. Sometimes it looks like a community that depends on your craft. Define your version of success before someone else defines it for you. Define your version of success before someone else defines it for you. You don't have to build a billion-dollar company to win. Sometimes freedom looks like $10,000 a month on your own terms. Sometimes it looks like a community that depends on your craft. Define your version of success before someone else defines it for you. Work is no longer a place. In 2026, your office can be anywhere on earth. Your clients don't care where you are, only what you deliver. Location independence is the new pension plan. Location independence is the new pension plan. Location independence is the new pension plan. Work is no longer a place. In 2026, your office can be anywhere on earth. Your clients don't care where you are, only what you deliver. Location independence is the new pension plan. The most dangerous thing about formal education is not what it teaches, it's what it doesn't. It teaches you to follow instructions excellently. But excellence at following instructions is not the same as leadership. But excellence at following instructions is not the same as leadership. But excellence at following instructions is not the same as leadership. The most dangerous thing about formal education is not what it teaches, it's what it doesn't. It teaches you to follow instructions excellently, but excellence at following instructions is not the same as leadership. Part 1 has shown you the problem. The world has been restructured, quietly, completely, permanently. Normal is not a safe harbor anymore. It is a slow-moving trap, and most people are still inside it. Normal is not a safe harbor anymore. It is a slow-moving trap, and most people are still inside it. It is a slow-moving trap, and most people are still inside it. Part 1 has shown you the problem. The world has been restructured, quietly, completely, permanently. Normal is not a safe harbor anymore. It is a slow-moving trap, and most people are still inside it. The new elite are not smarter than you. They do not have more hours in the day. But they have something most people lack, a system. And a system repeated faithfully beats talent every single time. Global connections. The day begins before the competition wakes up. Not because of discipline, because of design. The morning routine is not a ritual. It is a competitive advantage built from compound habits. High performers think in systems. They ask, if I do this once, how do I make it happen automatically every time? They replace willpower with process. Because willpower runs out, processes do not. It is the architecture of success. Speed matters, but not the speed of motion, the speed of decision. But not the speed of motion, the speed of decision. Strategic clarity is the rarest quality in business. Most founders know what they're building. Certainty arrives after the window has closed. The highest stakes game in 2026 is not played on a board. It is played in markets and in minds. It is played in markets and in minds. The winner is always the one who sees 4 moves ahead. It is the art of finding the deal that makes both sides stronger. The best negotiators in 2026 are also the best listeners. Every established industry has a legacy problem. We protect what we build. And legacy problems are opportunities for those bold enough to enter. Not tomorrow. Now, it is time to enter. Your network is not your net worth. Choose your circle with extreme deliberateness. Your network is your insight stream. Choose deliberately. The right 5 people around you accelerate your thinking by years. This is the insight stream. Your network is the foundation. Choose who you spend time with. Create once, distribute forever. The greatest businesses of 2026 are built on this principle. The fastest path to success has always run through someone who has walked it before. They plant trees they will never sit under, deliberately. Vision is not fantasy, it is navigation. The mind needs a target before it can plot the route. In a world of mass production, craft is the rarest luxury. Quality has become counterculture in a world of mass production. The brands that obsess over quality command loyalty no budget can buy. In 2026, trust is the most defensible competitive advantage. The economy always rewards mastery. Mastery is the new luxury. Pick one thing, go deeper than anyone else is willing to go. Pick one thing, go deeper than anyone else is willing to go. The rewards at the bottom of the niche are far greater than at the surface of the mainstream. The body teaches the mind something no book can. Pain produces resilience. Pain, endured willingly, produces resilience. Resilience is the raw material of every great business. Pure isolation. You cannot build something lasting if you cannot endure discomfort. True triumph. The most successful people in 2026 understand human psychology at a deep level, not to manipulate, to connect. Understanding why people decide is everything. Understanding why people decide is the foundation of every successful sale and relationship. Psychology is the meta skill above all others. Traffic patterns show collective behavior. Financial literacy is not optional. It is the difference between earning and keeping. It is the difference between earning and keeping. Financial literacy is not optional. Most people earn significant money in their lifetime and hand it back quietly through ignorance. The new rules demand financial fluency before financial ambition, closing the day strong. The new economy rewards purpose alongside profit. Consumers in 2026 choose with their values, not just their wallets. A company with a mission has a natural recruitment strategy, marketing engine, and loyalty program built in. Purpose is not the soft option, it is the strategic one. Community connects here. Strategic clarity is the rarest quality. Pick one thing, go deeper. Most founders know what they're building, navigating the vision. Very few know why, and almost none can articulate it under pressure. Navigation is everything. Clarity of mission is what keeps teams together when the market turns. In 2026, distribution is the business. The product is secondary to the audience. Connect with the pulse. You must build the audience first before anything else. Then ask them what they need and build that. The media empires of the future are being built today. Individual voices. One voice, consistently valuable, builds more trust than a corporation. Authority compounds. One voice, consistently valuable, builds more trust than a corporation ever could. Authenticity is the moat that cannot be copied. Prepare in the shadows. The most successful people study time horizons most people cannot see. They ask, where will this be in 10 years? The patience of legacy. They ask, where will this be in 10 years? Not next quarter. Long-term thinking is the ultimate unfair advantage. Study the depth of history. Build the foundation before the building. Success is supported by invisible infrastructure. The visible part of success is always supported by invisible infrastructure. Everything rests here. People celebrate the product launch. They never see the 500 failures that preceded it. Foundation work is not glamorous, it is everything. Growth begins here. Negotiation is not confrontation, it is finding the deal. It is the art of finding the deal that makes both sides stronger. Ink on paper. The best negotiators in 2026 are also the best listeners. Listen to the room. They understand that information is the real currency at the table, ready for takeoff. Artificial intelligence is not your competitor. It is your leverage multiplier, if you know how to use it. Network growth. Those who integrate AI into their workflow gain an immediate 10-to-1 advantage. Visionary labs. The tool does not matter, the person wielding it always does. Connectivity is power. Design is not decoration, design is differentiation. Trust is earned. The product that wins is not always the best performing product. It is the product the user trusts most, at first glance. Clean and premium. Trust is earned in a fraction of a second, or not at all. Unique focus. Protect what you build, the legal infrastructure is the wall around your castle. The world rewards boldness, but punishes carelessness, sealed in authority. Structure your assets, protect your IP, formalize your agreements. The legal infrastructure is not bureaucracy. It is the wall around your castle, shaking on it. The view from the top looks nothing like it did from the base. Pure altitude. Pain, endured willingly, produces resilience. Grip the challenge. What changes is not the mountain, it is your capacity. It is your capacity to climb it. Becoming the authority in your space is a choice. Stand behind it. It begins with consistency and is amplified by conviction. Say what you believe, stand behind it, repeat. Conviction is the only way. Say what you believe, stand behind it, repeat. Conviction is the only way. Authority compounds in the same way interest does. Execution without strategy is noise. Move as one. Strategy without execution is fiction. We map the terrain. The companies that dominate in 2026 are exceptional at both strategy and execution. Operations hub. They plan with rigor, they execute with relentless follow-through. The next generation is not waiting. They build before they drive. Visionary labs. They are building before they can drive. The 17-year-old launching software today makes your current employer irrelevant in 10 years. Scale shift. The question is, are you ahead of them or behind them? High energy accelerator. Timing matters, but judgment matters more. The frontier of choice. Anyone can see a wave after it has broken. The elite see it forming. Pattern recognition. Position is determined by preparation, not by luck. Create once, distribute forever, focus on the output. The greatest businesses of 2026 are built on this principle. Digital leverage. The work you build today can pay you for 20 years. Global scale. Time is finite. Digital assets are not. The fastest path to success has always run through someone who has walked it before. Find them. Find the person who is 10 years ahead of you. Offer value. Offer value, ask nothing, learn everything. A single mentor can compress a decade into a year. Community impact. Unmanaged risk is, watch the metrics shift. The greatest investors in the world do not avoid risk. They price it correctly. Monolithic towers. Learn to calculate risk with precision, and the world opens entirely. The reward of correct bets. Vision is not fantasy, it is navigation, from city to shore. The mind needs a target before it can plot the route. Pin it. The clearer your picture of the destination, the more directly you move toward it. Vague goals produce vague results. Every time, clear horizons. Consistency does not look dramatic in real time. And again, until the compound effect becomes undeniable. 5 years from today, you will be somewhere specific. Cultivate it. The direction is being determined right now by what you read, who you follow, what you build. Not by your circumstances, by your choices. Lock it in. Time is the only non-renewable resource, built to last. The architecture of the new elite is built on time, specifically allocated. Part 2 has shown you what they build, historical foundations. Part 3 will show you what they fight through. The direction is being determined right now. Time is the only non-renewable resource. The architecture of the new elite is built on time. The direction is being determined right now. Part 2 complete. The direction is being determined right now. Part 2 complete. Every success story has a chapter they don't put on the highlight reel. The moment the system fails, the moment the market shifts overnight, the moment the founder looks in the mirror and asks if it was all a mistake. When the crisis hits, most people flee. The ones who run toward it become the ones who are remembered. Chaos is not the destroyer of success. It is the selector. It separates those who adapted from those who froze. The lean days teach you what the good days cannot. Running out of runway forces decisions that comfort would have deferred forever. The constraints were the gift, even if it took years to see it. Every great company was once 60 days from zero. You will get knocked down multiple times. The number of knockdowns is irrelevant. The only variable that matters is, did you get back up? Resilience is not a character trait. It is a decision made repeatedly. Momentum is the most misunderstood force in success. It is not about being fast. It is about refusing to stop, even when the conditions are against you. Momentum rewards the stubborn, always. Crisis systems demand hierarchy, clarity, and immediate action. Business crises are no different. The leader who remains calm when everything is falling apart becomes the center of gravity the team orbits around. Calm is contagious. So is panic. Choose deliberately. Every market crash in history was followed by a recovery, without exception. The ones who bought during the panic became the beneficiaries of the recovery. The only question in a crisis is, are you a seller or a buyer? When systems fail, communities reveal their true values. Catastrophe strips away pretense and status. What remains is character and capability. The entrepreneur who builds community builds the most crisis-resistant asset there is. The first failure does not disqualify you. The second does not either. Most people who built something worth remembering were first fired, failed, or forced to restart. The pattern is not success. It is fail to learn to rebuild to succeed. Public failure is the tax on public ambition. You cannot build something visible without attracting commentary. The critics are not the builders. Do not let spectators determine the direction of builders. The ability to walk away from a bad deal is not weakness. It is the highest form of negotiating leverage. You can only walk away if you have other options. Build options before you need them, always. The market will dry up, count on it. The question is, did you build reserves during the rain? Financial resilience is built in the good times, not recovered during the bad ones. Save, stack, prepare. The drought always comes. There is a specific kind of tired that only comes from building something that matters. It is the exhaustion of creation, not the exhaustion of routine. The difference between them is everything. One drains you, the other, somehow, restores you. Every crisis leaves something behind. Not just damage, clarity. The things that survive the fire are the things worth keeping. Crises are not endings, they are editing sessions. Success attracts imitation, and imitation, unchecked, becomes theft. Protect what you build with the same intensity you used to build it. Legal infrastructure is not paperwork, it is armor. Rebuilding is not a sign of failure. It is the proof that the builder is still building. The greatest success stories in history are rebuilding stories. The first version was the prototype. The rebuilt version is the product. Accountability is not a liability in business. It is a brand strategy. The companies that survive crises are the ones that tell the truth first, loudest, and fastest. Trust lost through crisis can be rebuilt. Trust lost through deception cannot. The whiteout is not permanent. Every founder who has ever built through uncertainty knows this. After. During, it is impossible to see. The discipline is to keep moving anyway, trusting the route you set before the storm arrived. The hardest conversations are also the most necessary ones. Most companies die not from competition, but from conversations that were never had. Clarity is kind, ambiguity is cruel. Say what needs to be said before the silence costs you everything. Rejection is data, not verdict. It tells you where the gap is between your story and their understanding. The response to rejection is never to stop. It is to listen, adjust, and return with a better version of the truth. Regulation is not the enemy of business. Inflexibility is. The companies that survive changing rules are the ones that build adaptability into their DNA. Rigid systems break. Adaptive systems bend and continue. Every great performance began with terror. The courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to perform despite it. The crowd never sees what it costs to walk on that stage. Every movement begins with one person awake when everyone else is asleep. Writing, planning, refusing to accept the current version of reality. They are not exceptional because they are different. They are different because they chose to act. The pivot is not a failure of vision. It is the implementation of a more refined vision. The original idea was the permission to start. The pivot is what the market taught you while you were listening. Destruction always precedes formation. The economy that collapsed made space for the economy that followed. You are not rebuilding in the ruins of the old world. You are building on new land, formed by the disruption itself. Crisis creates discount windows. The best acquisitions in history were made during recessions. When others are in fear, the disciplined are in position. Preparation turns chaos into opportunity every single time. Leadership is not tested in calm water. It is revealed in the storm. The captain who holds the wheel when the waves are highest earns the trust of the crew for life. Crisis is the interview, every single time. The turnaround story is the most powerful narrative in business, not because it is rare, but because it requires everything. Turnarounds reveal who the leader actually is, stripped of easy conditions, and they leave a scar that becomes the foundation of real authority. Some trees only release their seeds in a fire. Their design requires destruction to propagate. Some people are the same. They needed the fire to become what they were always designed to be. When a competitor fails, their customers are suddenly available. Their talent is on the market. Their suppliers need a partner. The prepared company does not mourn the disruption, it harvests it. The beginning is always unglamorous. A kitchen table is not a failure, it is a starting point. Every empire began somewhere embarrassing. The location of the origin story is irrelevant. The commitment is everything. Every long endeavor has a mile 20, the moment it seems impossible to continue. The wall is not real, it is a perception created by the distance already traveled. Push through it. The second wind is real, it always comes. The debrief after failure is where the education lives. Most people skip it, too painful, too exposed. The ones who do it honestly carry the insights into every next thing they build. Learning from failure is not optional, it is the only currency failure produces. After the storm, always, there is clarity. The chaotic middle is just that, the middle. Every journey through tension arrives at resolution. If the walker does not quit before it arrives, the climax is not the end. It is the turning point. You have survived everything that was meant to stop you. The fire tested what you were made of, and you held. Part 3 showed you what the breaking point looks like. Part 4 will show you what comes after it. This is the moment everything becomes clear. Not the moment of celebration, the moment of understanding. The summit was never the destination. The person you became on the climb was. Success is not a solo achievement. At the peak, you realize how many hands helped you climb. And the first instinct of the genuinely successful is, who can I help climb next? That is the final test of character, at the summit. The new rules of success are not a secret. They are available to everyone, in plain sight. But most people are too busy following the old rules to look up long enough to see them. This is the moment you look up. The best companies in 2026 create culture before they create products. The team is the moat. When you build a place people choose over every competing offer, you have built something that lasts. People remember how a company made them feel, always. People remember how a company made them feel, always. The greatest wealth is not measured in a bank balance. It is measured in what you build that outlasts you. The values you teach, the culture you create, the trail you leave. Legacy is the compound interest of a well-lived life. Legacy is the compound interest of a well-lived life. The best rooms in 2026 are the ones you earn entry into. Not through credential, through contribution. Find the table where the conversation is 10 years ahead of the market. Then say something worth hearing. And come back every week. Geography is dead as a constraint. The new world economy has no walls. Your market is every human with a screen and a need. In 2026, thinking locally is the most expensive strategic mistake you can make. Thinking locally is the most expensive strategic mistake you can make. The truly successful understand that wealth is a tool, not a destination. The happiest people at the top are those who figured out the best use for it. Giving is not the opposite of receiving. It is the highest leverage investment available to a successful person. The promises made in private become the performances made in public. The commitments made to yourself when no one was watching, they were the real ones. Every destination you have reached began as a note someone told you was unrealistic. The unrealistic ones always come true. For those who refuse to stop, the greatest return on knowledge is teaching it. What you know shared multiplies. The teachers who built students, who built companies, changed more than any solo founder. Teach everything you know, it comes back exponentially. Freedom is not the absence of responsibility. It is the ability to choose your responsibilities deliberately. The entrepreneur who builds correctly earns the right to choose, not just where to be, but how to be. That is the real summit. The most valuable businesses of the next decade will solve the world's hardest problems. Not because it is noble, although it is. Because real problems are large markets, and large markets reward those bold enough to enter them. The best companies of 2026 are built with and for the entire world. Not as a marketing strategy, as an architecture decision made at founding. Diversity of perspective is not a compliance checkbox. It is the most reliable source of breakthrough thinking available. There is a version of your life where you operate at full capacity. Not a future version, a present one. The only thing standing between you and that version is the belief that it is not available to you. It is available, it always was. The new economy is not a winner-takes-all system, if you understand it correctly. There is enough demand in the world for 10,000 successful businesses in every niche. The scarcity is not of opportunity. It is of people willing to show up consistently enough to claim it. Every significant business started as a trickle, patient, persistent, finding its channel. The businesses that reached the sea are the ones that kept moving. Through rock, through drought, through every barrier placed in their path. The destination was always the sea. The path was always the river's choice to make. The moment of arrival looks different for everyone. For some it is a bell. For some it is a quiet morning and the knowledge that they are free. For some it is seeing their child do something they never could. Define arrival on your own terms, or someone else's terms will define it for you. Normal is not a neutral position. In 2026, normal is a trajectory, and it leads somewhere specific. The path of least resistance leads to mediocrity with certainty. The path that diverges leads somewhere only you can see, and you must trust that vision entirely. You always knew this road existed. You could feel it, even when you couldn't see it. The new rules were not rules you needed to learn. They were rules you needed permission to already know. Every empire looked like this on day one. Ordinary space, extraordinary intention. The difference was never the resources, it was the conviction that this would become something the world needed to see. The certificate is not the conclusion, it is the clearance. Clearance to begin the real education, the one that happens in the market. The classroom teaches theory, the world teaches consequence. The smartest people are enrolled in both, simultaneously, always. Success that stays is the rarest kind. Most are temporary, they fade while the strong endure. The ones that last are built on relationships, reputation, and genuine value delivered consistently. Not disruption, dependability. One idea, heard at the right moment, changes the direction of a life. This moment could be that. Or it could be the 20th time you've heard this, and this time it finally lands. The messenger matters less than the moment you decide to receive it. The best time to plant was 5 years ago. The second best time is today. Not because the tree grows faster from urgency, but because the tree cannot grow at all until the seed is in the ground. The final measure of a leader is not what they built while they were there. It is what continues after they leave. Build something that does not need you to survive. That is the definition of a legacy worth leaving. Every transformation begins with an idea encountered in stillness. In a library, in a book, in a documentary, in a conversation that changed your direction. The difference was being ready to act on it. The information was always available. The difference was being ready to act on it. The ocean does not resist the swimmer. The resistance is in the mind, trained by years of being told to stay on shore. Normal is the shore. Step into the deep. You were built for the open water. The idea that changed everything looked foolish on the napkin. The investors who passed on it are forever unnamed. The ones who believed built something that outlasted any argument against it. Believe in your idea before the world gives you permission to. Every morning is a new referendum. Not on what you have done, on what you will do. The past is fixed, the morning is not. The most powerful words you will ever say, today I begin. She didn't wait for the factory. She didn't wait for the team, the funding, or the permission. She built the first one herself, badly, and then better. Everything else followed from that first act of refusal to wait. The new rules of success include one that rarely makes the headlines. Slow down enough to see what you are building, and why. Speed without awareness is just movement. The most successful people also happen to be the most present. The cities that declined were not destroyed by bad fortune. They were emptied by people who left before the turn. The entrepreneurs who stayed or arrived early built the turn themselves. Show up before the revival, be the reason for the revival. We live in the most connected moment in human history. Every door is accessible, if you approach it correctly. Every collaborator is reachable, if your work earns their attention. The new world is not smaller than the old one. It is larger, and it is open. Be the lighthouse, a beacon of clarity in a storm of noise. In a world of confusion, clarity is the rarest and most generous gift you can offer. Build something so clear in its purpose that others find their direction because of it. That is the new standard of success. Not what you accumulated, but what you illuminated. Being normal in 2026 is not a neutral choice. It is a direction toward invisibility, toward replacement, toward regret. The new rules demand one thing above all others: the courage to be exactly, completely, and unapologetically what you were designed to be. The trap is behind you now. The only question that remains is, what will you build with what you know?